I'm Nick Rizzo, here with your Sports Rundown. In the words of the great Jim Nantz, McIlroy has his masterpiece, as the Irish golfer finally completed the illustrious career Grand Slam after winning the Masters on Sunday. A Masters championship was the only thing missing from McIlroy's trophy case, as he had previously captured titles in the U.S. Open, PGA Championship, and Open Championship. The last leg of his Grand Slam was a long time coming, though, as McIlroy became famous throughout the years for coming up just short at the biggest golf tournament in the world. It appeared that history was repeating itself on Sunday as well, as McIlroy missed a 5-foot putt that would have handed him first place, sending him into a hole-for-hole playoff with previous Masters champion Justin Rose. Rory stayed calm, though, birdieing the first hole of the playoff, handing him the green jacket while getting sent into an emotional roller coaster. McIlroy's Grand Slam sends him into elite company, becoming just the 6th golfer to achieve that feat. The NBA playoffs are about to get underway, but first the play-in tournament must be completed. Last night featured one great and one not-so-great game, as the Orlando Magic ran the Atlanta Hawks out of the building in the form of a 120-95 victory. Everybody contributed for Orlando, as 5 players scored in double figures, led by Cole Anthony with 26 off the bench. Meanwhile, Trae Young tried willing the Hawks to victory with 28 points, but had frustrations boil over with a late ejection. On the other hand, the late game between the Grizzlies and Warriors came down to the wire, but Golden State prevailed 121-116 in a game that was pure cinema. Jimmy Butler has coined the phrase playoff Jimmy in recent years due to his high-level postseason play with the Heat, and that was on full display last night, as the 35-year-old scored 38 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, and dished out 6 assists. However, the Batman of the group, Steph Curry, took over late in the game and totaled 37 points. The Warriors now look forward to a first-round matchup with the Rockets, and it's clear that they'll be a tough out this postseason. Meanwhile, the Magic have a date with the Celtics, and the Hawks and Grizzlies will keep fighting for the 8th and final playoff spot in their respective conferences. We are now 3 weeks into the 2025 MLB season, and there have been many surprising teams in addition to teams that have disappointed. Starting off in the National League East, the Atlanta Braves have gotten off to a subpar 5-13 start. After being riddled with injuries to essentially all of their star players last year, Atlanta was a major bounce-back candidate heading into this season, but that hasn't quite come to fruition yet. But on the bright side for the Braves, star pitcher Spencer Strider just returned from Tommy John surgery earlier today, and superstar outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. is set to return soon as well. So Atlanta's outlook isn't a complete black hole just yet. On the other hand, the Padres have gotten off to a blistering hot 15-4 start, while in the thick of the very competitive National League West Division. Led by Fernando Tatis Jr., who is batting .354 with 6 home runs, the Padres appear to be serious contenders in the National League, right next to their divisional foe, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now back to disappointments, this time in the American League. The Boston Red Sox were a team that many pinned as possible World Series contenders heading into the season. But they've been anything but up to this point, barely scraping by with a .500 record just about 20 games in. Boston has been hindered by their pitching, as they rank in the bottom 10 in all of Major League Baseball in ERA, batting average against, and WHIP. There is still plenty of time for the Red Sox to turn things around, though, especially considering they will roll out a Cy Young candidate on the mound in Garrett Crochet every 5th day. I'm Nick Rizzo, and that was your Sports Rundown. If you Google the legality of owning Bengal cats in Australia, you may risk having your personal information stolen. According to a recent warning from the cybersecurity company Sophos, anyone who searches the question, "Are Bengal cats legal in Australia?" could be taken advantage of by hackers and locked out of their computers. These hackers steal bank information and other private details through a piece of malware known as Bootloader. If you're a victim of this scheme, or if you feel like your confidential data has been breached, Sophos encourages you to change all of your passwords as soon as you can. 3 Florida educators face criminal charges for abusing disabled students. Marissa Johnson, Michaela Lomax, and Morgan Donahue are the 3 Smyrna Elementary School educators who are now facing charges for abusing students. According to police, the 3 would regularly abuse the children, call them names, and throw objects at them. The school district issued a statement saying they had reported the incidents to police back in February and that the three were no longer in the presence of students. All three have been charged with endangering the welfare of a child and have been released while awaiting their hearing. Over 60 Harvard Law students are indefinitely banned from the school's library. This is the third round of suspensions handed out to student protesters for their participation in pro-Palestine silent study-ins. Today's rally garnered more than 80 people at the Science Center Plaza. This is following two separate silent study-ins at the school's library in Langdale Hall. These protests usually involve the groups silently reading or studying while taping protest slogans to their laptops. The students are now appealing their suspension to administration.
Here's the latest in world news. The IRS fired 6,700 employees, all of which were designated as probationary, working on a trial basis prior to becoming full staff members. More than 5,000 of those staff members were auditors and collection staff dealing with tax compliance issues. That number of 5,000 lines up closely with the number of new auditors the agency had hired with the IRA money for increased enforcement. A news conference between President Trump and President Zelensky is canceled as political tensions grow between the two over how to end Ukraine's ongoing 3-year war with Russia. Trump recently went to Truth Social to call Zelensky a dictator and suggested that Ukraine was to blame for the war. Despite Trump's comments, Zelensky still owns a fairly high level of public trust in Ukraine at 57%. New York Governor Kathy Hochul will not remove New York City Mayor Eric Adams from office, but instead put limits on his power. Hochul has experienced pressure in recent weeks to remove Adams from City Hall, following the mayor's indictment last year due to allegations of corruption. That pressure intensified after the Trump administration moved to drop all charges against Adams so that the mayor could help federal authorities carry out immigration raids. Now, back to the desk.
ABC is hosting an exclusive jailhouse interview with Tupac's suspected murderer. Dwayne Davis is the only man that's ever been charged in the notorious Las Vegas murder of rapper Tupac Shakur, and he still insists that he is innocent, claiming that he only confessed to his role in Tupac's tragic death because he was being paid to lie. In his first interview since being arrested in 2023, a tearful Davis told ABC that he should be home watching his grandchildren grow up instead of being forced to stand trial in a nearly 3 decades old case. Prosecutors say the 61-year-old Davis was a longtime member and leader of a set of the infamous Crips street gang in Compton, California. Lady Gaga's unreleased song Garden of Eden is named ESPN's Formula One racing anthem for the 2025 season. The news was first broken while sharing a video montage of Formula One's top drivers and sparks flying from race cars speeding down the track, with the caption, "Introducing ESPN F1's anthem for the 2025 season, Garden of Eden by the one and only Lady Gaga." The track is set to arrive in full on Friday, March 7th, along with the rest of the pop star's highly anticipated Mayhem album. Michael, back to you.